good afternoon, guys. Welcome to the lunchtime hour. Well, by the time I get this edited and put up, it may be bedtime. So that's just the way the cookie crumbles, y'all. But welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. I'm going to be going into the Aldi here to pick up a few random things that I need. And I'm going to also be documenting our inflation prices that we've been doing all through the year. So we're going to have an update probably right after this video. So we're gonna multitask today. So I hope you're having a great Monday. Hope you had a blessed weekend, and thank you so much for your support all the time. So here's the deal. So how would you like, I actually like it, but how would you like to go to your local deli, sandwich shop, hamburger joint, whatever, that's the family neighborhood place, and in order for you to basically order a sandwich and fries, hamburger, hot dog, whatever, that you knew that the crime in your area and that the murder rates in your area were so high that these facilities, not school, a hamburger, a sandwich joint, you know, you're getting some fries and chips or something, okay? That it was going to have, or does have, should I say, armed guards with assault rifles. Yes. So apparently this story broke a couple of days ago, but you know, we had our extended holiday anniversary, it's our holiday anniversary weekend. So I've kind of bounced in and out of the news and different things, but I did see this. And the name of the place in West Philadelphia, which I'm sure you're just so shocked it's in Philadelphia, Jim's West Steaks and Hoagies in West Philadelphia. Yeah, I saw this on Instagram. I actually couldn't believe it. I thought maybe, I'm like, is this something from a joke? Is this a joke? I mean, but then I'm like, no, it's probably not. So you can look it up. The New York Post did a whole story on it. And that broke like 5 to 7 days ago. I have no problem with this. So apparently they have guards. They keep, I guess, 1 or 2 at a time, if I understood what I read. And they are trained individuals. Of course, they should be. And, that is what's going on in Philadelphia in order for you to go get a steak hoagie. I mean, they must have incredible sandwiches because they talked about their lines are down the road. I would stand in line. I want my Philly cheese protected. Okay? I love it. So, but I want you to think about what I just said and to really digest that. I'm not talking about you going to a place like the bank, you know, or heaven forbid you even have that, you know, at your local high schools or public, I don't call them government, public school, your government schools. I mean, you know, are we having this type of protection over your children or over your money at most places that you go to? I mean, maybe I'm just naive living here in East Tennessee, but we typically don't see that heavy of a protection team, you know, even at the banks or at the schools or at jewelry stores or wherever. No, I mean, they've got security, yeah, but we're talking big time, baby, walking around. Hey, so here's what I'm saying. What does that tell you? And it should also tell you that even though, you know, I live in an area where we're not really seeing that yet, I'm not naive to the fact that we very likely could, should, would. Now, you know, again, I don't go into Knoxville and hang out downtown unless I'm doing a little genealogy or whatever, and we're very particular about when we have done that. And unfortunately, I think those times are going to be less and less. This is why I went to North Carolina for the day, most of the day on Saturday, because I have a concern about safety. I have a concern about gas prices. You know, I have concerns about different ways that, you know, we as a society can be locked down or attempted to. So this is what I'm saying. When you have an opportunity right now, do your due diligence and do all the things that you need to be doing. But if you can take time to finally go do something that you know you've been wanting to do that's special to you, you and your spouse or your family, I would be doing it. Just me. Plus, you know, we're moving into fall. We're fall now. The leaves are already changing early here in East Tennessee. Winter is coming, so you know you don't tend to go as many places anyway, just on a normal note. But think about it. You want to go get a Philly cheesesteak? That's right. You got Rambo next to you. So I'm not against that. What I'm pointing out is that people, the extremes that you are seeing businesses having to go to in order to protect themselves because of so much crime. This is why I say, ladies, when you go out, You better be using your situational awareness. You better make sure that you have a buddy with you to take care of you, that you can defend yourself by or with. All of these things are important. See, like right now as I'm talking to you, I'm watching everything around me at the same time. You have to do these things. So I want you to think about that. I also want to make something very, 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 very clear. I have made videos going on 10 years now here on YouTube. We've talked about a lot of different things off and on, but we have as far as security, preparedness, et cetera, over the years. But you know as well as I do that we've talked about different things more in the last 3 years for good reason. Everyone should be concerned about all of the things that we're seeing, in my personal opinion. If they don't want to talk about it on videos or on their blogs and vlogs and make points on social media, I can't control that, but you should be concerned. Now, I want to make it clear though, folks, crime is on the rise, the debt crisis is incredible, and the economy is not doing well, regardless of what they're telling you. If the economy was doing so darn tootin' well, then why is credit card debt for American people over $1 trillion? It's because we're so productive and we're making so many things and people are doing so well and getting out of debt because the economy is doing so peachy keen jelly bean. Again, you're being fed lies. So you believe what you want, you do what works best for you, as I always tell you, but I would be using your thinking cap. If you need to go get the Reynolds wrap to help you out, go ahead and do so. It does help you think a little bit clearer on most days. But here's my point. In terms of silver and gold, listen, I'm not your financial advisor, okay? I do good to financially advise myself, and the advice that I give myself is, what would my mama tell me to do if she could tell me what to do prior to what we should be doing going into a Great Depression, what would she tell me to do? This has been my theory. This has been sprinkled all throughout my videos for the past 10 years. You're welcome to look. I can guide you to some things, but here's the thing. My stance on debt is get out of it. I don't advise people who are drowning in debt and have no preparations in their pantry and don't know what day of the week it is to go and buy gold and silver first. So I'm not going to tell you that you just need to forget everything else in your life right now and start investing in gold and silver and whatever else on the planet, in the market or whatever. No, I personally think that you need to fight as hard as you can to get yourself out of as much debt as physically possible. This is an absolute repeat of everything I've said before. Then I think you need to focus on making sure that you have a nice stockpiled pantry as best as you can, whatever those things are. I'm not going into that because each individual pantry and family and person is different. You do what works best for you. There's tons of videos on that, okay? You need to make sure you have food, water, security. You need to make sure that you have medications for you and your family. How about your pets? Take care of home first, okay? That is critical. You also need to make sure, my personal opinion that I would have, this is going to be up to the individual of what they want to do or what they can do. You need to make sure you have a certain amount of cash that you can operate on. If a crisis happens for at least, that could be a month, it could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be a year. You have to do your finances. You're going to have to sit down with a piece of paper and a simple calculator and start doing the old-time fashion math that they're not teaching your kids in school anymore. And, they don't even know how to write a check now. Kids don't. They just don't. Most of them don't. They're like, what's that? But you need to make sure that your basics are taken care of. Now, I know most people, when I talk about getting out of debt, they're like, well, I can't pay off my house or I can't pay off my car. Okay, I get that. You do what works best for you. I will repeat myself on that. But if you can get out from underneath credit card debt, what about your school loans, extra extraneous stuff? Are you paying for extra extraneous stuff that you don't need? If you can get it down to the nitty gritty of shelter and having a vehicle, then you're probably doing good. In fact, I would argue that you're doing better than probably 95% of the population, okay? And at that point where you get comfortable, okay, then you can, like I said, start looking at making sure you have security, food and water, and the basic needs. At that point, in my personal opinion only, only an opinion, not advice here, is when you can say, okay, well, I would like to add some insurance to what I'm doing as far as my money, because of what you see going on with the dollar, what's going on around the world, and then you can decide how you want to spend that moving into what levels of gold and silver you want to. I have never been against people having gold and silver or investing in gold and silver. I think that it is the smartest insurance policy for your money. You can disagree. That's fine, whatever. However, you've got to make sure your stability is in check first. A lot of people want to argue about this. I'm not going to argue about it. You do whatever you want. But I've never said ever that people that have gold and silver are silly, stupid, or are morons. No. That's being taken out of context. And it's also, I've seen other individuals being taken out of context. I think a responsible person looking out for you is going to say, first and foremost, you do what you think you need to do, sugar pie, okay? It's your business, your money, your house, whatever. However, how are you, how's your job doing today, okay? I mean, you still got it? Does your husband still have it? You've got to hedge against the tidal waves of life so that you can at least have a roof over your head and can feed yourself, your kids, your dogs first before you worry about anything else. So that's why I tell you that, because you've got to really be able to do that. Now, some people will say, well, forget that. Just get the gold and silver and turn around and buy your food or whatever. Like I said, everybody's got an argument against, for, or about this. I think there is a responsible pattern in which you should follow on this. Now, like I said, if you're paying off debt as you go and you're slowly stockpiling as you go, which I think you should, and you're paying off debt as you go, if you want to, in my opinion, dabble and get you a couple pieces of silver, get you some silver maples or whatever you are comfortable with a little bit as you go, well, then that's fine. Because surely you're giving up going to the football games and going to the beach and going wherever in order to do so, right? Because your focus is to get yourself set. So there are ways that you can do several things at one time. But your focus, in my personal opinion, should be to get out of debt as much as possible. Make sure that you have you got to have somewhere to live. Your children want to sleep in their bed. Your dog needs to be fed. I think you need to take care of home first as quickly as possible, and whatever that means. Okay? So I want to make sure that I'm clear on that, because that's the way that I feel it should be done. And if everybody was fighting tooth and nail to do these things, in this pattern or as close as possible and trying to be as responsible as possible in terms of getting out of debt and making sure they can eat, well, then the pressure wouldn't be so hard on everybody else, because we would all be in a responsible mode, doing a little bit of TCB, taking care of business, right? So I want to make sure that I'm clear on that. I've never been against gold and silver, not at all. But I do believe that there is a certain way to go about it first, especially if you have a family, okay? I think you should do all of these things. I think you should do all of it. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people that didn't start doing these things 3, 5, 10, 20 years ago, like a lot of you guys out here. They're just now starting and they don't know where to start. And so that's why I say each individual situation is different, and you kind of got to map it out. But you're not going to go wrong by taking care of this. Get out of debt. Whatever that is for you, as much and as quick as possible. Okay, and make sure that you've got plenty of food, water, shelter, medication. You're taking care of your kids and your pets and being responsible first. Okay, I think I cleared that up. When we were in North Carolina on Saturday and we were driving on the other side of Asheville, there were people basically sleeping on the side of the highway. Now, you know as well as I do, there's been unfortunate situations with people and unfortunate situations with homeless people forever. Okay, I agree with that. But you can't deny that it's incredible. Look at all of these big cities. Look at what they're having to do in Philadelphia just to get a Philly cheesesteak. Okay? It's not necessarily because of the homeless people, but because, well, here's the thing. When people become destitute and they have to make decisions in order to eat, a lot of them turn to crime. Okay? And unfortunately, you're living in a time where you have been bamboozled to believe that people that are trying to protect you are all bad. And so therefore, all of these things are on the uptick. How is that working out for everybody? I mean, are you going to keep voting the way that you are in these big cities and keep this going? No, what's happening is you're getting pushed out, and then you're trying to come down here and live with us, or outside of the big cities, out into the rural areas with us. And, you know, folks hey, that's fine. Just be peaceful and responsible and do the right things, right? That's really what that's about. And, you know, it's unfortunate to see what we're seeing in a lot of these big cities, you know, throughout our country. If you live outside of the United States, and you want to come here and visit, what you think you're visiting is just not that way in a lot of these big cities anymore. I'm really serious. I can't believe that anybody would be going into major cities now just to, because they think it's fun and dandy. I personally am staying away from them as much as possible. It's not a knock on the good people that are still in those big cities, but we're praying for y'all. So listen, guys, it's really a big deal right now, and food is going to be very important for you. When I have people commenting and saying that they can listen to their police scanners and they can hear what's going on, and homes are being robbed, not to necessarily steal, you know, important assets or to look for things like that, or televisions or whatever. No, they're taking the food from the houses. In the comment section, I don't see why anybody would make that up. I think we can all look around and see what's going on and go, I can believe that, and I better prepare for it. Guys, we appreciate you being here. I'm going to go in here and see what's going on. I assume some prices will be down, some prices will be up, but we're going to continue to take an inventory of it, and we'll continue to do that throughout the year to see how it moves. Heck, we may just keep up with it and keep it going every other month or so like we've been doing, just so we have a pulse of the reality that a lot of us, not us, not meaning not me or you per se, but other people are just refusing to see still. And they're going to be in a world of hurt. And when that world of hurt comes, it's going to come so fast, it's going to make their head spin. Like, subscribe, and share. You stay safe out there. Ladies, I'm really serious. Y'all stay safe, make good decisions. Pray about the moves that you make with your home and your family and your finances. Pray about it. You know what to do, and you know what your granny would have told you to do in 1927, 1928 to prepare ahead. You know. Everybody knows. It's just a matter of whether or not you choose to go that path. I would do what Granny tells you. What you definitely know Granny would tell you. Guys, we'll see you on the next video. Be safe, like, subscribe, and share. Godspeed, and let's get shopping.